There are people in the world with various habits. Some are good habits and some are bad habits. It can also be said that it's part of their individuality. Among them, there is a habit of stealing that is unbelievable. What's even more frightening is that there are people who seem to have left behind the feeling of guilt. Aaliyah was exactly like that. Because Aaliyah had a habit of stealing, it led to a major crisis that put her life in danger. My name is Bella, just an ordinary housewife you could find anywhere. I live with my elementary school-aged son and husband. Cooking is one of my hobbies. However, I may have a slightly unconventional way of thinking from other people's perspectives. So I've been enjoying it secretly alone, but I never imagined it would lead to something like that. One day, there was an occasion where my mom friends gathered at my house. Aaliyah and Cameron came over. Both of them had been to each other's house before, as their homes were right around the corner. But neither of them had ever been to my house.
Bella, your home is gorgeous. It's really different when your husband works for a top-tier company.
That's not true, it's just normal. Since Aaliyah found out where my husband works, she's been getting on my nerves by making comments like this.
Your kitchen is also so clean and spacious. It's nice.
Aaliyah abruptly opened the fridge and peeked inside. I was so surprised by her bold action that I was at a loss for words.
As expected, everything you're eating seems to be good. Oh, I want to try this. This one is expensive, right? Hey, Bella, I want to try making something with this.
Hey, Aaliyah, isn't it rude to suddenly look inside someone else's fridge like that? Cameron took over and reprimanded her.
Oh, come on. It's okay. I envy you because you have all these fancy foods, unlike us. Oh, I want to try this too.
But there are the dishes that Belle is serving, right?
Yeah, but this looks more high-end, doesn't it? It's not fair that those who earn more get to eat better food. God is so unfair. And even though they eat good food themselves, Bella is surprisingly stingy with us, huh?
I didn't mean it that way, but if you have complaints, you don't have to eat it. I answered with a bit of irritation, and Aaliyah told me to get in a good mood.
Oh, sorry, that wasn't my intention.
Then, what do you mean?
Of course, I'm going to enjoy this too, you know. I just thought that since we're at it, I want to try some high-quality ingredients.
Cameron was looking at her with a face of utter disbelief. I didn't say anything more either. Aaliyah ate more than half of the dishes I had served, despite complaining earlier.
People who always eat good food have it good, don't they? I'm so envious that they can eat such delicious food every day.
I couldn't say anything more. This is what I meant. I should have kicked her out at that time. After finishing her meal, Aaliyah began to wander around the house.
Oh, this must be the bathroom, right? Wow, it's spacious and clean. It's nice.
Hey, Aaliyah?
Is the washroom this way?
Aaliyah, it's not appropriate to go around someone else's home like that. It's rude. As I thanked Cameron for admonishing Aaliyah, I gently scolded her. We're just an ordinary family, Aaliyah, and it's uncomfortable to be stared at like that.
It's just looking. What's wrong with that? Besides, you're living a much better life than us. It's not fair.
I realized that the conversation wasn't getting through to her.
My husband is a worthless man and I have to go to work to make ends meet. I would love to be a stay-at-home mom like you, Bella, and be able to live a luxurious life.
Afterwards, Aaliyah continued to sneak peeks around the house and was reprimanded by Cameron and me. But she didn't seem to care at all. After the two of them left, I was exhausted and worn out. We ended up eating out that day since I was too tired to cook. That's why I didn't notice anything strange. The day after Aaliyah and Cameron came over to play, I stood in the kitchen thinking about making some of my favorite dishes. And that's when I noticed. Wait, where did all my sauces go? Did I move them somewhere else? I looked all over but couldn't find any of my secret sauces. This is terrible if they're missing. They're my personal favorites and my husband wouldn't have touched them. I don't think so, but just in case, I decided to contact Aaliyah and Cameron. I have some condiments missing that I left in the kitchen. Did you bring them home by mistake or something? I'm sorry to ask you this, but I just want to make sure. I checked, but it doesn't seem to be with me. It's worrying, right? I don't want to say this, but isn't Aaliyah acting a bit suspicious? I'm sorry to say that I also thought so, but she wouldn't steal some seasoning, right? But her jealousy was abnormal. I'll talk to Aaliyah and apologize for causing her any worries. My conversation with Cameron went like this, but as for Aaliyah...
Are you suspecting me, Bella? It's just some seasoning, you know? Gross. That's such a terrible feeling.
It's not about stealing, just checking if you mistakenly took it home.
Basically, you're accusing me of stealing and over some seasoning. I heard rich people are surprisingly stingy. And it's true, isn't it? Bella, you're so uptight. Just so you know, I don't know anything. Anyway, with all the money you have, I wouldn't be bothered even if I lost a little something.
I'm sorry if it's just a misunderstanding, but it's actually missing. Even if it accidentally got mixed up in your things, please don't use it under any circumstances.
I already told you it's not here. And what do you mean by don't use it? Are you really that stingy? Even with spices?
No, it's not about that.
Wow, if you're making such a big deal out of it, it must be some super expensive spice, huh?
It's not like that.
No, it must be like that. Rich people use amazing seasonings, don't they? I can't imitate that at my place.
It's not about that. Anyway, even if you have it, please don't use it.
You're so persistent. I don't have it, okay?
I wish I had said it right at the time. Aaliyah looks suspicious no matter how you look at her. The incident happened after this. It happened a few hours after I talked to Aaliyah on the phone.
Ah! Help!
Right after I heard a woman screaming, I heard the sound of an ambulance siren. I had a bad feeling about this. I rushed outside and saw an ambulance parked in front of Aaliyah's house. Aaliyah was being taken out of her house on a stretcher. Her face was pale and she was shaking uncontrollably. She was almost unconscious.
Aaliyah, can you hear me?
The paramedics were calling out to Aaliyah multiple times. Oh no, this is serious.
Please explain the situation.
My wife was eating alone and suddenly started feeling unwell.
The food tasted really strange. I don't even know what it was. Does your wife have any allergies?
I've never heard of her having anything like that. As Aaliyah's panicked husband was explaining the situation to the paramedics, his eyes met mine. Suddenly, he gave me a stern look and started walking towards me.
Bella, what is going on here?
Uh-huh? What do you mean?
My wife was cooking using the seasoning you gave her, and then suddenly her condition changed. I tasted it a little bit, and what the hell was that? It tasted terrible. My mouth is still numb.
Well, that's...
Right now, the priority is to take her to the hospital. Please, hurry. Bella, please come too. Explain it properly.
I ended up getting on the ambulance by chance. Oh, it's become troublesome.
I can't believe someone would give something like that to another person.
Aaliyah's husband was mumbling and Aaliyah would occasionally moan.
Aaliyah, get a grip.
He was desperately trying to get her attention. When we arrived at the hospital, Aaliyah went into the treatment room. Aaliyah's husband, with a bright red face and anger in his voice,
Depending on the situation, we may call the police. Please give us a proper explanation,
he said while accompanying Aaliyah. This is troublesome. How should I explain? An hour later, I found myself talking to Aaliyah's husband in the hospital room where Aaliyah was lying. Aaliyah appeared calm while receiving an IV drip, as she was diagnosed with a mild case of food poisoning.
Bella, I'm asking you again, what the hell is going on? Fortunately, it wasn't life-threatening, but it's still a big problem.
I just want to make sure. Did Aaliyah really say that she received seasoning from me?
Yes, she did. What's wrong? Are you trying to deny it?
No, that's not the case. It's just that...
What is it? Please be clear.
I want to call the police and talk to them. Also, there's something I want to check at Aaliyah's house.
To call the police yourself, there must be something suspicious going on. Alright. I don't know what you want to confirm, but since Aaliyah has calmed down, let's go back home for now.
With Aaliyah's frustrated husband, I took a taxi back to Aaliyah's house. Which seasoning did Aaliyah use?
I think everything here is all there is.
Oh, I see.
You gave them to her, didn't you? Why are you checking now? This smells terrible. What is this? Do you have a grudge against Aaliyah?
This is death sauce. There's also noni juice.
I'm not sure what that is.
Death sauce is very spicy and noni juice is absurdly bitter. They're so strong that they're used as a punishment in games. It's something most people don't eat.
Why did you give that to my wife?
Just then, the police arrived at Aaliyah's house.
This person made my wife eat terrible food. Is this a crime?
Please calm down. That seasoning was something Aaliyah took from my house without permission.
What?
That seasoning that Aaliyah stole was a very stimulating substance.
Are you saying that Aaliyah stole it? What a baseless accusation.
I understand that it's hard to believe, but that seasoning was missing from my house on the day Aaliyah came to visit. I told Aaliyah not to use it under any circumstances. Here, I told him about Aaliyah's behavior that day in our phone conversation. I kept quiet about her lamentations about his lack of worthiness.
So, my wife stole the seasoning from your house and thought they were luxury items?
That's right. I myself enjoy such stimulating sauces as a personal hobby. It was very embarrassing to talk about such things in front of the police. Oh, sorry, can I make a call to my house? I called my husband at home and quickly explained the situation, asking for his confirmation. Oh, I see, that's not all. I just checked, but it seems that some of the cosmetics I had in stock in the bathroom are missing.
What?
I didn't notice because they weren't something I needed to use immediately. They were on the bathroom shelf. I'm sorry, but could you search the house? As the police searched the house, I waited nervously. My heart sank when they found the cosmetics that had disappeared from my home. Moreover, they found my ring from what appeared to be my valuable item box. It was a ring with my name engraved on it, so there was no need to confirm it. I stored it in the bedroom, so I guess someone sneaked in without me noticing?
Why? Why would she?
Aaliyah's husband was stunned and seemed unable to accept the reality. I proceeded to work with the police in a businesslike manner. Oh, there's also a ring with Cameron's name on it. This seems to be another crime, I said while Aaliyah's husband just hung his head.
What the hell am I supposed to do?
Just then, we received a call from the hospital that Aaliyah had woken up.
Bella, I'm sorry to bother you, but can you come with me again?
Aaliyah's husband had somehow managed to switch his emotions, but his face was now contorted with anger compared to earlier. In the taxi, Aaliyah's husband was making a phone call somewhere. We arrived at the hospital and first Aaliyah's husband went into the room. I could hear Aaliyah screaming from inside.
I was fooled by Bella! This is harassment! I'll sue!
Bella, please come in.
Huh? Bella? Why?
I'm terribly sorry.
Aaliyah's husband apologized profusely.
Hey, what do you mean? I'm the victim, right?
Screw you. You're the worst person I've ever met. What you did is a crime.
Bella, what did you tell my husband?
That you stole seasoning from my house.
Stole? That sounds bad. I just borrowed it. You did such a dirty thing, keeping all the fine food for yourself. It's your fault for being stingy, Bella. I mean, there was so much that I couldn't use at all, so I used some for myself.
Suddenly, Aaliyah came up with a strange theory, and both Aaliyah's husband and I were speechless.
And that weird taste? What was that? You made it seem like it was some fancy ingredient. I was fooled. How terrible! Bella's the one at fault. She used her wealth as an excuse to be snide.
Enough already. It's terrifying that I'm married to a criminal like you.
A criminal? That's an exaggeration. It's just some seasoning.
Not just some seasoning, she's also been stealing my cosmetics and rings. And Cameron's ring too.
What? You rummaged through someone else's house without permission?
No, don't say that. We had the police come, so don't worry.
The police? You're just messing around.
You're the one messing around. We're getting a divorce.
Huh? Why a divorce? Why did it come to that?
There's no way I can live with a criminal like you. You lie and act like you know nothing. I don't trust you. Of course, I'll take custody of our son. It's bad for his education to be with you.
Wait a minute. Why all of a sudden?
At that moment, the sound of heavy footsteps running towards us grew louder and louder until the hospital room door burst open with great force.
Dad, why are you here?
What has this useless daughter of mine done now? I'm sorry for the sudden intrusion. No, thank you for letting me know. I'm terribly sorry about my daughter. No, there's someone who's suffered more than I have.
Aaliyah's father turned towards me and also apologized profusely.
I sincerely apologize for everything.
This is the second apology of the day. It's not often in life that you get to see such a profuse apology.
This girl has always been a sly one, but I never imagined she would stoop to stealing someone else's property. Shame on you!
Aaliyah trembled and seemed to be crying.
It's Bella's fault.
Are you still saying that?
But it's your fault because you don't make enough money. I want to live a glamorous life.
Stop talking nonsense! You live off us and yet behave like this.
I was just standing there like a wallflower, but Aaliyah's father's anger was intense, and I was also scared.
I'm thinking of divorcing Aaliyah. Oh, of course, I'm truly sorry. I'll take responsibility and discipline her properly.
What? You mean I have to go back to my parents' house? No way. It's so rural. My standard of living will drop compared to what it is now.
You keep talking about your standard of living and being glamorous, but it doesn't suit a lowlife like you. That's right!
Before going back to your parents' house, you'll be in the care of the police, though.
Shut up! It's all your fault.
Aaliyah was about to come towards me, but her father glared at her, and her husband stopped her.
Are you only thinking about yourself? You didn't even apologize to Bella. You're beyond help. Apologize with all your heart.
I'm sorry. See? I apologized, so can we not get divorced?
Enough mocking people. I can't do this with you.
No, I don't want a divorce.
After apologizing to the people who had gathered around the room, I left the hospital. After I left, even louder shouting was heard. The nurses rushed into the room in a panic. Let's talk about what happened to Aaliyah after that. According to the police investigation, it was discovered that Aaliyah had been stealing quite a bit. Aaliyah's past crimes keep coming to light, and she doesn't seem to know what she's stolen from whom. When questioned by those who knew her, Aaliyah denied the accusations, but it turned out that many people who knew her had reported missing items. The police were apparently stumped by the sheer number of victims, so it seems that Aaliyah will not be released anytime soon. Of course, Aaliyah and her husband divorced. Aaliyah cried and resisted, but her ex-husband was determined. It's not surprising. It seems that Dennis was granted custody of the children. Dennis told me when he came to visit that he lives near his parents' house, so he is able to continue working and raising his child with their help. Both Dennis and Aaliyah's father have apologized many times. I heard that they have been visiting the victims and apologizing for what Aaliyah did. Apparently, everyone is sympathetic because both of them are also victims in a sense. Of course, everyone is only angry at Aaliyah. After being under police custody, it seems that Aaliyah will have a hard time compensating the victims. Aaliyah's father has found her a job, and all of her salary will go towards paying off the damages. Aaliyah has never worked for more than a short part-time job before, and is scared of being made to work from morning till night. She doesn't want to leave the police. Well, apparently even the police scolded her harshly and she cries every day. My secret hobby that I was enjoying ended up being discovered by my family, but my husband just laughed it off. I think the fact that I kept it under tight control so that my son wouldn't eat it by mistake made it look like a luxury item. Aaliyah stole what she thought must be a luxury item. She seemed to have misunderstood me on the phone. To comfort me, my husband will be taking me to a rare seasoning shop, which is lucky for me. I was reminded, though, not to include it in my husband and son's meal by mistake. So, what shall we cook today? Well, I had a rather unusual hobby that turned out to be a disaster this time. In a way, it can also be said that Aaliyah was a disaster. Stealing is absolutely not acceptable. I can only hope that this exciting experience will help Aaliyah reform. Well, it might be difficult because she's the kind of person who easily believes that things are luxury items and steals